Back at it again at the spirit boards. So starting off this episode, we're going for the Nightmare Power Orb. Now this ties in very closely to the Star Rod spirit we got in the last episodes. But yeah, Nightmare's Power Orb is the form he appears in before he goes full-on Nightmare, shortly after Kirby releases him from the Fountain of Dreams with the Star Rods. Kirby's kind of a goober in that sense. Goodbye. This spirit is fucking mean. Ness's father. Ness's father is represented by nothing more than a mobile phone. Because he's a deadbeat dad who Ness only really ever talks to on the phone. He's being represented by Snake, a big, gruff, manly man, you know, a father-esque figure, who is invisible. Because his dad isn't there for him. That's so fucking mean. Holy shit, I love it. So, yeah. That definitely is that. Later on, we have a spirit that's slightly less funny. Anyway, for this particular battle, shit is kind of hard because you do have the invisible dad constantly setting bombs and traps for you. But the key is just to try and divide and conquer, as I said before. If you ever get battles like this, that is your best bet. And also use the level geometry to your advantage. This particular stage has cars flying in semi-regularly. And if you stay in the middle, that's quite a good vantage point, so use that to your advantage as well. Anyway, I think it's time to do some decisive finishing off now. Here comes the final smash. Here comes big old Pete Piranha, who I think has caught the dad. Yep, we got him. Couldn't tell there. And because this is the spirit board, not the campaign mode, I only get to use that once. So I'm going to have to definitely finish off this deadbeat father. Oh, God. One more hit and I'm done. One more big hit and I'm done. There he goes. Got him. Here's Marill. Marill first appeared in Pokemon Generation 2. It is a water type. Later became a water and fairy type. It evolves from Azurill and into Azumarill. And when it was first released in a Nintendo magazine, I believe it was Nintendo Power, a massive rumour spread that this was the secret fabled legendary Pokemon, Pokemon 152, Peekaboo. Marill was the source of one of the biggest Pokemon hoaxes of all time. Anyway, moving on from that, we have Professor Jerry Riggs, plays all the time, and learn a lot. Great names there. They appear as your helpers when you play with your Nintendo Labo. So yeah, that really is all there is to the three of them. They're being played by Dr. Mario, Young Link, and Bayonetta. But because it's such a basic rudimentary spirit, not a particularly hard battle. On top of that, you'll notice that we're playing on Paper Mario. That is to represent their cool papercraft designs. And that was very quick. Here is Zekrom, the counterpart to Reshiram, who we have already encountered. Whereas Reshiram is the Pokemon of truth, Zekrom is the Pokemon of ideals. Reshiram's, well, arch nemesis, so to speak. And much like Reshiram, it can also fuse with Kyurem in order to create Black Kyurem. Anyway, Zekrom here is being played by a Dark Samus, who is big and biomechanical, which is pretty cool in theory, because Zekrom is itself a biological creature. It's alive, but it does have mechanical parts on it. And it's also an electric type, so screw attack equals electricity once again. That reoccurring pattern we see in these spirit battles. More Pokemon! Here's Electrodes! Electrode is from Generation 1, the evolved form of Voltorb. And it is the Pokemon equivalent of a Mimic. In the Pokemon games, items appear on the overworld as Pokeballs. So if you go up to one, selecting it, usually in a power plant, you're going to run into an angry Electrode which will, more often than not, just blow up in your goddamn face and instantly kill whatever Pokemon you had out. So that is why we have a very explosive battle here, with just lots and lots of bombs everywhere. all different types of bombs, and Pac-Man playing the little spherical monster himself. And literally one more explosion will do it. There we are. That did the job. Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form. First appearing in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow is a 50-year-old biomechanical, once again, hedgehog, created as the ultimate life. I also forgot to mention he's part alien as well. Anyway, he is much like Sonic, the main difference being that he can stop time with his powerful Chaos Control ability. I have a video documenting this, which also ties it to JoJo, because I am complete trash. Anyway, this particular battle just has us fighting a Sonic, with Shadow periodically stopping time, and also stopwatches appearing to represent Chaos Control. The only downside to that is the fact that stopwatches can also stop the person who actively picks them up. There's a small chance of them backfiring. So fuck those, kill him. There goes Shadow. And this is Fox Luigi. In New Super Mario Bros. 2 onwards, when Luigi gets the Tanuki power-up, you know, the one that would otherwise give you floating and flight capabilities, instead he goes for a more Kitsune kind of look, with the little fox ears and the little fox tail. So that's a nice little aesthetic touch. And, yeah, all things considered, this fight's quite tricky because of the winds. Now, the strong winds would be a problem for me, except I have the Stalk equipped to Yoshi, so I care not for your strong winds, I have babies to deliver. What I do not like so much is being constantly jabbed. That is very, very frustrating. You need to be dead right now. I need you to be dead. I need you to be very dead. In fact, one more hit should do it. 3, 2, 1. Boosh. There we go. Here's the dice block from Mario Party, the entirety of the Mario Party series. They are literally just dice blocks that you roll at the beginning of each round to decide how many turns you take, and whether you land on items, or mini-games, or power downs, or penalties. Yeah, they're a set of D6 die, I don't know what to tell you more than that. This particular battle is just purely luck-based. Just a fuckload of items are going to appear, and they could be bad, they could be good, you could die in 2 seconds, you could kill your opponents in 2 seconds. It perfectly represents the luck-based nature of Mario Party. Come at me if you think otherwise. There's no way to get good at Mario Party, it's just fucking luck. Anyway, still fun regardless. And, you just killed yourself with a launch star. Good move, well done, good job, GG. There are so many fucking items now that they're all kind of intersecting into each other, and I don't know what's what anymore. Wow, you too, huh? Cool. Here's Diancie. Diancie is a Generation 5 Pokemon. Not Generation 5, Generation 6, sorry. It is a Pokemon inextricably linked to Carbink, who is a little rock and fairy type Pokemon. And Diancie itself is the Princess of the Carbinks, a rocky fairy. To represent her, we have a lot of Kirby. We have 2 Kirbys here, who are arguably a bit more Carbink in nature than they are Diancie, but whatevs. And they have the Reflector on, because Diancie itself has the Magic Bounce ability when it Mega Evolves, which means it is immune to non-damaging attacks. When I say that, I mean it's a little more complicated than that. It's more that it reflects status-inducing shit, but anyone who's played Pokemon will know what it does. Bulbapedia it. Anyway, here is Link from the remake of Link's Awakening. You'll notice that this is the new design of Link's Awakening, even though it came out after Smash Bros. So yeah, this spirit was patched in. Spirits are to this day being patched in. As such, this LP apparently will never fucking end. Anyway, let's go burn this little fool. The level we're fighting on, Tortimer's Island, is representing Koho Lint Island from that game, which is the island Link finds himself in his dreams. The Chain Chomp there is representative of the fact that there are a lot of Nintendo cameos, Chain Chomp being one of them. One of your main party members for a little while, if you can believe that. And, yeah, Toon Link here with a slightly duller colour palette to represent the fact that even though he was, you know, cartoony in nature, or he is cartoony in nature, he's not full-on cel-shaded Toon Link cartoony. So, yeah. I like that very subtle change in colour, just to get the point across that this is a slightly different Link. And now he's a dead Link. No, he's not. The camera was just too zoomed in. Oh, now he's a dead Link. Now he has no coming back from this one. Yeah, get punched right onto the screen, you scrub. Mega Lucario. So, Pokemon Generation 6 introduced Mega Evolutions. I've referred to them before several times, but Mega Lucario is the first one you actually receive, as you're given a Lucario by the third gym leader, Karina. And, yeah, you immediately get a Mega Stone for it as well. Mega Lucario is fucking monstrous. When fully trained properly, it is as powerful as a legendary, especially in competitive matches. And it also appears as Lucario's Final Smash in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And in Super Smash Bros. 4, but in that game, it was less of a big AoE attack that you shot out, and it was more an alternate form that just boosted the power of your aura attacks. I guess to represent that, you know, form of Final Smash, they have this Lucario spamming this thing repeatedly, and starting the battle with high damage when you equip it yourself, in order to give you immediate access to powerful aura. Anyway, you dead now. Goodbye. QB! That is the most adorable design for a character, and it's so goddamn simple. QB is the main protagonist of Box Boy, a 3DS puzzle platformer, where you played as a little walking box, and you had to push around and intersect with and interact with blocks also. Hence why we have this very, very plain level, a nearly entirely white level. We have boxes spawning, nothing inside the boxes, they are just boxes. We have the Wii balance board there, which arguably is also a box. And yeah, this battle is pretty simple, even though you are fighting a bunch of Kirby, so don't get caught by the hive mind, don't get caught between them. Just, if you can, divide and conquer. If you can't, overpower them. And yeah, Groudon's a good way of doing that, evidently. Ready for one more big kick in the face? Nope. How about this, then? Suplex. Here are the Cuckoos. Cuckoos appear in the Legend of Zelda series, in most of these Zelda titles, and they are just harmless little chickens that walk around the overworld. But if you fucking attack one several times, hell will fucking descend on you, you evil bastard. You'll be attacked by an army of powerful Cuckoos. Hence why this battle is us fighting against a bunch of Falcos after we took down the first one. That represents us pissing off the Cuckoo. And also the Cuckoo itself is appearing, so by slapping that thing in the face by accident, I've now incurred their wrath, and I can barely get shit done when I'm being constantly peppered by them. Now this time I'm not going to piss off any Cuckoos, I'm just going to deal with these Falcos. Let's give them all the slaps, and how about you get attacked by birds? See how you feel. Your brethren have turned against you. Nice. This is Dion, Max, and Jack. They appear in the game Marvelous, Another Treasure Island, a Super Famicom exclusive action RPG that played similarly to The Legend of Zelda, The Link to the Past. And in that game, these three kids are kind of like the Goonies. They seek pirate treasure, and they end up travelling to a piratey island, solving puzzles in order to acquire that treasure. So yeah, this is the closest thing we have to Nintendo's take on the Goonies, and I approve. No sloth, though. We don't get any sloth here. Maybe my PT Piranha could be the sloth. Why not? Anyway, this is a relatively simple battle because they are just a bunch of scrubby kids. So I'm just going to rack their damage up and kick him the fuck out as soon as they give me an opening. Maybe I should actually hit with a big attack, though, not just my little jabs. Because all that succeeds in doing is launching them away, just for them to come back about 20 seconds later. Oh god, that poison missed. I keep using it by accident. I keep meaning to use the spiky ball attack. There we are. There we go. There's that good spiky ball. I don't use that enough. Alright, this is the Warrior Mech Gauss from the DS mecha game Chosoju Mecha. I hope I said that even remotely correctly. So, he's a Gundam. He's just a big fucking Gundam. I know you probably wanted more from me. You expect more from this LP channel from me, myself, but look at him, he's a fucking Gundam. He's just a goddamn Gundam. Get dead, Gundam. I'm gonna stab you out. As soon as I get that clean hit. There we go. It's a Gundam. Steelix, a Steel-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 2. Steel and Ground-type. Steelix is actually the evolved form of Onix. So anyone who hasn't played past the first game, there's a shock for you. Onix does in fact evolve. And yeah, he is a terrifying beast, being played by a big metal Ridley. That said, I'm playing as Groudon, who is able to use both fire attacks and ground attacks, which, in an actual Pokemon game, would spell certain doom for Steelix. And you know what? Arguably, it spells the same here. Also, we have the level playing into my favour just there. Thank you very much. Cheers for that. And one or two more hits should do the job. Not getting blasted in the back by Steelix. It does also have a Mega Form. I almost forgot that. But no one ever uses it because it's not that good, admittedly. Wow, another Steel-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 2. What are the chances? Here is Skarmory. Now, Skarmory, even though it looks far less intimidating than Steelix, is arguably a lot more terrifying from a competitive standpoint. Being both steel and flying, Skarmory has a ridiculous amount of resistances, and its defense means that it is immune to a shitload of potential attacks. So, in Generation 2, if you put Skarmory with a Blissey, you won. You just won the game at that point. Anyway, here are some ghosts. The ghosts from Pac-Man. Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde. The ghosts from Pac-Man are, you know, pretty goddamn well known. They chase you around the maze. If you pick up a power pellet, they turn blue, so you can go and eat them. But what I think is interesting about them, and I'm pretty sure this fight doesn't reflect it, but the ghosts from Pac-Man are one of the earliest examples of enemy AI in a video game. They all act differently, and many people go their whole lives never knowing that. One of them constantly pursues Pac-Man. One of them always tries to cut Pac-Man off. One of them does his own fucking thing and is pure erratic, and the other one runs away from you. So yeah, they are all individual in nature, but under the stress of being chased, many people will not realise that. Anyway, here is the Eggplant Man from Wrecking Crew. Eggplant Men were your basic enemies from that game. And yeah, as you ascended your tower and took down buildings, you had to be sure that the Eggplant Men wouldn't get in your way and kill you. Why they would kill you, I don't really know. I guess they just have a grudge against you. Maybe you owe them money. Either way, they're dead now. Goodbye. And here is Ninja Kong. Ninja Kong is one of the evil kings who appears in Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. He is a big, mighty, and admittedly very powerful boss who kind of serves as a skill gate. If you're not quite good enough at the game, Ninja Kong is going to be the one to slap your ass down and cut you off from the second half. Alright, here's an interesting one. This is Satoru from Trade and Battle Card Hero series. These were a pair of games that appeared both on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS, and kind of like earlier with the whole Gundam thing, they were Yu-Gi-Oh! Knockoffs. They were a pair of Yu-Gi-Oh! Style monster card games. Which is wild that Nintendo would make that, because they have their own Pokemon card game to make money off of. But either way, in that series, you would play as a kid named Satoru, and you would use monster cards, and magic cards, and master cards in order to defeat your opponents. This particular fight has a Shulk, who, you know, not only looks like a normal 17 to 18-year-old kid, but also has a weapon that allows him to move into different modes, kind of like the different phases of a card game. And the Bowser, Ridley, and Mewtwo, who we've defeated now, are all representative of different monsters from his game. I would not be able to tell you which, because it's a Japan-exclusive series, and the monsters are very hard to identify, based purely on YouTube videos. So yeah. Anyway, this battle has gone on way too long, given the actual difficulty of it. Get frying pans.
Finally, he's here for you. It's the last member of the DK crew. This bond so strong, it isn't funny. Can make a gremlin cry out for money. Can pick up a boulder with relative ease. Make crushing rocks seem such a breeze. He may move slow, he can't jump high, but this Kong, one hell of a guy.
Now this battle is fucked. This is genuinely problematic. This is Paz from the Metal Gear series, appearing in both Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5. Pacifica Ocean is a war orphan who becomes a member of Cypher. Her goal is to infiltrate Big Boss's Army Without Borders, the MSF. But more upsettingly, in Metal Gear Solid 5, she is tortured, sexually abused, and she has bombs placed in both her abdomen and her vagina. The former is removed in a horrible surgery scene, the latter kills her, and the legit trauma caused by that event is why the game is called The Phantom Pain. Bob-ombs! Anyway, moving on swiftly from that one, here is Darkman 4 from Mega Man 5. Darkman 4 is one of the Darkman robots who impersonates Proto Man in that game. Built by Dr. Wily. He's an evil fucker. There's not really much more to him than that, so quick, easy defeat. Those three Samuses were representative of the first three Darkman forms, of course, but the main one still goes down without much of a fight. And here is a Lurchthorn. Lurchthorns are skeletal fish monsters, I guess you could call them, that appear in Kid Icarus Uprising. They are segmented enemies. It's ideal to shoot the actual head in order to defeat the whole thing. But to represent how segmented they are, we have a bunch of Pac-Men here. And yeah, I can pretty easily kill them. So this isn't a particularly hard fight. But what is interesting about this stage is that Lurchthorns can actually appear in it, in the background. They fly across the stage and they do electric damage to anyone who touches them. It's a shame I'm going to finish off this Pac-Man before it really gets a chance to show itself off. There we go. Alright, so those are all our spirits for today. I still can't get over the Paz one. That's so fucking tasteless. Here's Mr. Saturn from the Earthbound series by putting Specknose, a little nose monster, and QB, an adorable little guy who walks on 2 feet. We get adorable little nose monsters who walk on 2 feet. They're just a bunch of weirdos, and they live in Saturn Valley. Alright, so that's Mr. Saturn, and as I said before, if you combine Zekrom with Kyurem, and yes, I did go and get another Kyurem for this, you can combine them in order to create Black Kyurem. But just like before with White Kyurem, turning into that form doesn't actually make him any stronger, it just changes stats, hence why he's still an Ace Spirit after that. And that is that. Time for some leveling up. Shadow becomes Super Shadow, as he appears at the end of Sonic Adventure 2. And Sonic 06, I guess. And Shadow the Hedgehog. Nightmare achieves his true form. The Nightmare Wizard, as they call him here. Chun-Li becomes her Street Fighter 2 incarnation. What with Alpha being a prequel. And Zygarde becomes a very big boy. Complete Zygarde. See y'all soon.